Oh, you guys, this is incredible. I've been so personally in the moment with every moment that there hasn't been like a specific message per se coming from the guardians. Usually they work with me through the week and exactly kind of what to share in the Thursdays, and the entire lesson plan, if you will, that we're being really drawn into is coming into our body, coming into our physicality, coming into the awareness of what God's source light actually really is. When we talk about ascending, when we talk about being in the fifth dimension, the fourth dimension, the sixth dimension, the ninth dimension, any of these dimensions, you know, a lot of times it's just a word like saying angel. And we think of an angel as an actual physical being, like that looks like a human being with wings, but they're not. And when we really kind of get down to understanding or understanding that God's source light is fully and completely us, 100% within us, my desire today is to kind of break it down in a whole other level for you so that when you hear the phrase, breathe in the essence, breathe in the living light, when you are connecting with the Divine Mother Sophia and feeling yourself inside the womb of the mother, that we are existing inside of her, therefore our soul is from her, it is her, we are fractals of the Divine Mother Sophia, if you will. And when we kind of think about that, it's hard to really perceive or conceptualize what is a hologram. We understand that a hologram contains the whole within it, but it could be just a tiny piece of the whole and still hold the image of the whole within it. And what really is a fractal, and what really are these dimensions that we talk about, and why are we experiencing more and more and more? And so today in our journey, we're going to explore just a little bit more about how to sense and feel these things on a cellular level within our body. That within our very essence, within us, that the source light, if you will, is within our very atoms, our electrons, our protons, and our neutrons. And that for anyone that has grown up in a religion, anyone who has grown up in any kind of teachings that teach about the Trinity, that teach about any of the divine figures, that we're going to start to play with the idea that the divine figures are not actual beings, they're not actual people, if you will, but they are descriptions of different energies that we hold right within us. And that even though the Divine Trinity has been defined many times as the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, or the Mother, the Father, and the Child, the sun, the moon, and the earth, that it's displayed in all of these things, that I'm going to just give you in a nutshell that the Divine Trinity is the core of everything. We've been living in a dual reality, polarity. So polarity and duality is what we would think of as two, not the Trinity, but two. And that in duality, it is not returning back to God's source light infinitely over and over and over again. So when we ever play within polarity and we do not see all within us, then we are outside. We are creating separation. And separation is where we are having the experience of suffering. That's all. That it's just an experience. That every time we've put on the hat and played the role of being the victim, or being the black sheep of the family, or being, not appreciated or loved, or any of the times we put on the hat and pretended that we didn't see the divinity in ourselves, and so we put ourselves down and we didn't see our own value in ourselves. Those really we get to the place where we see that as just roles and experiences that we've been pretending, we've been playing through a veil of forgetfulness, through a veil of letting go of the remembrance of the totality of who we are. And in so many ways, you know, I asked the question earlier, if you were in a space where you were in infinite form and you could call out to the infinite source to have something answered for yourself. Personally, for myself, it would definitely be to fully and completely have the full awareness through the third eye, the inner eye, the complete dissolution, the dissolving of the veil across all forms. Therefore, it could be something that, imagine if you could play with it at will, that you could dissolve it down, but sometimes you want to focus on one dimension more, so you could actually bring it up a little bit so you could focus. Because in truth, if our complete third eye awakened to all 12 dimensions within this time matrix, we wouldn't be able to comprehend any of it with our human mind. It would be kind of like being on a really bad acid trip where everything's just flashing and going really fast, because it would be all information simultaneously happening in one moment. And that's many times why in certain densities we have these veils, you know, to a degree, is to be able to focus in on the experience. But if you could have that ability now to just realize that within yourself is all the information. So in truth, yes, we do hold it all within, but yet these veils of separation have been the one main thing that we've felt have been so real, kind of like realizing that there's more space in a wall than there is solidity. And that if we knew how to master molecules, we could put our hand through a wall or we could walk through a wall, but you would have to completely believe it without a doubt, or else you would potentially get stuck halfway through it. That would not be good, right? And so the fun thing is that when we get to experience things like our lucid dreams are powerful places where we re-encompass these memories, these awakenings, and these experiences, because in lucid dreams, that's actually one of the higher adept practices within a lucid dream, is to actually go in the lucid dream, realize that the dream is mental, that you are the dream, and therefore the wall is not real. Therefore, you can walk through the wall. And there's been a lot of lucid dreamers that they're like, well, I made it halfway, but then I got stuck. So it's a powerful way for us to just honestly really start to harness our infinite abilities, which are all mental. These infinite abilities that we have are us believing 100% in ourselves, that you know without a doubt you are magic. You know without a doubt you are reflecting, you are the projector of your hologram, projecting your reality around you. And so it becomes fun that if there's all of a sudden a bunch of holographic realities kind of mirroring back at you about people talking about their mother, or people talking about, you know, specific topics or certain themes coming into your life, that it's your amazing opportunity to go like, wow, this is what I'm highlighting within. And how can I strengthen this within myself? How can I, in truth, create the most harmonious, balanced relationship with this hologram that I'm projecting? Where in my fractals, where in my divine blueprint have I gone into a polarized state or a state of separation with this relationship and lost the flow of the Trinity? Now, the Trinity is eternal living light. Eternal living light is eternal. It has no beginning and it has no end. Therefore, we in truth and in theory could completely get to a place where we could allow every cellular structure within our body to harmonize within the Trinity wave, so that we were eternal, that we became the living light flame. the Christos blueprint fully activated in this living form. It is absolutely, without a doubt, possible that we can. Many of us are just having the experience, though, of going through many of the polarities, the dualities, and the experiences. And as long as we're harmonizing with those polarities, unfortunately, polarity doesn't return back to God's source light. It is not in a neutralized state. It doesn't hit the 0-point field within it because it's either taking on one side or the other. And therefore, that is why so many times you will hear the phrase coming back into the compassionate, neutral witness, that we really want to be within every situation in our life more and more in a neutral, compassionate state, so that we're not polarizing any of the issues within our life, but rather we're allowing ourselves to see how, yeah, it makes sense that something like that would play out, but we step out of it. We don't project onto one side or the other and feed the story. Instead, we become the neutral, compassionate witness, most importantly with ourselves, with all of our past histories, with all of our past life experiences, or this lifetime, which is still past life experiences of our childhood. And within that, we get to release all of the judgment, all of the blame, all of the shame, all of the guilt, all of the places that we never felt worthy enough to be anything more than we were in that moment, or any of the places we felt shame for the choices that we did make, or feeling guilt, or any of those things. And as we get within the state of the Trinity wave again, the Trinity wave allows us to embrace and harness the neutral 0-point perspective that acknowledges that black and white is neither good nor bad. Negative and positive is neither good nor bad. It's really polarity and charge. It's part of what makes the physical reality. It's part of what makes the morphogenetic fields and the densities that we actually get to experience. And the beauty is that we get to experience. So here's the really cool thing. Even when something hurts, and let's just take something we've all went through, heartbreak. We've all been through gut-wrenching, painful, stomach hurts, can't eat, hearts shattered, heartbreak in this life. And there's so many times that it feels as like it's the end, right? There's just so much feeling and emotion within it. But when we take the neutral, compassionate witness perspective, we get to realize that in the God source realms, in so many ways, it's such a predominant energy, if you will, of the living light, of love, of perfection, of the singing sound tones of creation, right? That there is, let's just put it this way, that it could get a little boring. How about that? And that there is a magic to actually imbuing ourselves and being a part of what we are creating, that we've all created this, and now we get to be a part of it and experience it. And from other avatar experiences, you don't feel heartbreak. You wouldn't know what heartbreak feels like, but we get the opportunity to feel it here, to actually go within it and feel it in our body and go like, wow, I opened my heart so much to that person that I have a flood of emotion that it feels like it's like a tidal wave taking me over. What an incredible experience to feel this feeling. That even if we lose a loved one, we lose a pet, we know we're not losing them, but it feels like loss. It feels like they're not a part of our reality in the way that we knew them anymore. And so we get to feel that emotion and to realize that emotion is the depth to which you opened your heart. And as Rumi has said in one of his beautiful poems, that the pain, that when we go into the pain, that is where we find the places to really find the light. That in truth, when we are in shadow form and in duality, we make pain wrong. We make the situations in life wrong. We make whatever's happening on the planet right now wrong or bad, right? As opposed to that it's choices that are being made for people's experiences. And as we sit within this and we realize that the more we can open our heart in these moments, that our heart and truth and that insecure inner child inside of us says, this is so scary, this hurts so bad, I'm going to lock my heart down, I'm going to put walls around it, I'm going to lock it with padlocks, I'm never going to feel this pain again, that hurts so bad, I don't want to ever do this again, I would rather not open my heart, and I would rather not love, and I would rather not feel than feel this pain that I'm feeling right now. That's what we basically, the majority, have decided from childhood, because we didn't have our memories in that moment. And now we get to be in this situation where we're remembering the divine beauty of actually having this experience, having the experience of feeling the emotions, realizing they are not who we are. You are God. You are God source light emanating in a physical form, having an avatar ego identity of an individualized experience, manifesting your holographic reality around you. And honestly, what magic do you actually want to create in this reality? Or do you really want to see what suffering and fear and victimhood and feeling stuck feels like? And that's okay. If stuck is what we're wanting to feel it 100%, go deep into it, acknowledge it as just like, wow, this is really cool. I get to know what stuck feels like. I get to know what depressed feels like. I get to know what pain feels like. I get to know what these feelings feel like. They're not me. And then we honestly get to this place where it's like, okay, I felt that. That's awesome. But how do we transcend and move beyond it? And that is partially just coming to the awareness of the divinity that we are right within ourselves. And so as we went through this entire year of 2021, we went through a wild ride. We went through all of our ups and downs, and it was pretty incredible to get through this very last month, even starting around the end of November and going through all of December. December has been such a magnificent rebirth experience. I've seen it in all of your eyes. I've seen it in all of your auras and your souls. And as I talk with each of you, I just really honestly get lit up. And I just want to say from my heart to each of you, great job. You are so beautiful. You are so incredible. You are so magnificent. And you inspire me every single day to even discover more and more of who I am on a deeper level. Watching you shine, watching you sparkle, watching you embrace magnificence and joy and happiness and peace and even just a sense of discovery. And how can we take this into 2022, which coming through the end of spring, I'm excited. I cannot tell you how excited I am. There is something very special happening on an even bigger level. It's as if the spring is going to be like the Easter egg exploding and the Christ rebirth on the planet. And our job is to focus on our light, our pillar. What are we shining? Our hologram. What anchor are we holding? And to have a sense of compassion and honor to others around us in our life who are still playing around in other frequencies, other dimensions, other experiences. They are God source light. Don't mess with their dream if they're not ready to be woken up. Our job is to be our own luminescence, our own light. And as we do that, it just naturally happens. The ones that want to play, the ones that want to be curious, the ones that want to know more are going to. They're just going to reach out to us. And every single one of you here is not here by chance. You guys are pillars. You guys are the support team. You guys are the ones that others lean on, others reach out to, others are seeking answers from. I cannot tell you how honored I am to actually just to be in the brilliance and radiance of each and every one of you, because where you are, what you do matters. People are seeking you. And I would, from the depths of my heart, ask you, when you hear me say that to you, how much of your soul embraces that and knows that as your truth? And if there is even an ounce of polarity in there that wonders whether or not you could truly be the one to guide another person, I would ask you to please, from my heart to yours, see the Trinity wave within you. You are exactly the most beautiful, brilliant, perfect guide for those that are seeking you. And every single moment of your life is that new inspiration that you are creating an aha moment within your life. It's as if we just be who we are and the answers just come. There's nothing for you to figure out. And I will tell you, none of what you share with others will ever come from your logic. It will always come from you completely surrendering, getting out of the way, and allowing your higher self to be the vessel for exactly what that other individual or individuals, plural, may need from you. So thank you. So morphogenetic fields is a word that we use quite a bit, mainly because when we are doing remote healing, when you are doing energy healing, when you are doing anything like, say, when you're focusing on another person and imagining their highest, best interest or health and vitality for their body, or any kind of remote healing that you may be doing for someone, really what we're working with is the morphogenetic fields, the energy fields around a person. Because when you're doing energy healing, you're not actually working on the physical body of a person, but we work on the morphogenetic fields, which are the blueprint for what is manifesting our physical body. So I'm going to come back to this picture, but this just shows us that we have avatar identities that are existing within each harmonic universe of our time matrix that we live in. And each of these dimensional spheres is a blueprint that is identical to the one above it and the one below it, but just working within a different frequency band and a different vibration. So we exist mainly here in the physical form, in the physical body, in harmonic universe 1, which is what we would call our incarnate identity. And I will tell you that the fourth, so this, I guess you would look at it as this green band. The fourth dimension, when we talk about veils, this is the main specific veil that literally keeps us from knowing on kind of a more full access memory level what is going on in our soul identity, our oversoul identity, our Christ avatar identity, and then all the way up into the Rishi solar suns. So we're talking, this is just luminescent solar suns. So I just want to give you some of the foundation of when we talk about God source light, when we talk about the Rishi solar suns and the tri-founder waves, the Trinity wave, the Trinity energy that we're working with. I'm going to break it down that it's very, very, very much as if you just look at it as the proton, the neutron, and the electron. that these primary founder waves that have come forth are the father arc, the mother arc, and the Rishik sun. They are the original primal sound tones of creation. So if you can get within your perception of your meditations, that sound preceded everything, and that sound created light or frequency, oscillation, and that was pulsed into the void, the womb, that 0-point field, and those vibrations, those oscillations are what began to create the rays, the sound tones, and the beginning patterns, the beginning fractals of the morphogenetic fields that have stepped down, interwoven, and become more and more complicated, if you will, as they have stepped down into denser and denser harmonic universes, forming universes, planets, beings, experiences, all of these different things that we get to create within here. But it all very much starts as if you look at the solar ray of, say, a Rishi sun. We're going to use the blueprint of our solar logos in this solar system. So the sun, what we call the sun, when we look up and we see the sun shining, we're going to look at that as the divine creator of this particular solar system. And the solar emanations and rays are part of the light codes and fields that are seeding the different creations within the different solar systems, the different galaxies. So each solar ray, if you can look at our sun is actually, I'm forgetting the word, it's a polarized sun. I think I'm not using the right word, but it is connected. It is connected to the Sirius star system and the solar in the Sirius system. So our sun and within the Sirius system has a cycle. And I apologize, I forget the word of it, but they have an orbit and a connection. There is a absolute connection between these two. And the powerful thing for us to know why so much of this information is actually coming to us right now, if you think of the yuga cycles that we hear about in the ancient texts, that we go through things like the Iron Age, and then we want to make our way into the Golden Age, the Age of Knowledge and the Age of Enlightenment. This has to do with our orbit, our solar logos, and the connection with the Sirius system and that solar ray there. And when these two solar beings come together closer in orbit, that is when the yuga cycles create more of a connection and attraction for us to awaken, because we're getting more of the light codes. We're closer to the Sirius star, if you will, that is allowing us, our light, to light up. And light is knowledge. Light is gnosis. The coolest way we can really think about that is that a plant, a leaf on a plant, soaks in the photons of the solar rays. And that is literally what creates life within it. That we are really, in essence, living off of photons. We live off of light. And because we don't know how to absorb it ourselves or create it ourselves quite yet, because we forgot, and we're getting that opportunity to learn how to breathe, to learn how to create movement in our body, our chakras, our kundalini energy, all of this teaches us how to breathe the living light essence back within us. So we become like a plant, if you will, that is just feeding and growing through the photons, through the light. But because we don't know how to, that is why we consume. That is why we are in a consumptive universe right now. We have to feed off of the light of other substances in order to survive. And unfortunately, as long as we are still within that model, it just doesn't have quite the ability for our bodies to sustain an eternal light. And it's neither here nor there. It's not right nor wrong, because there's an experience on both ends. Just as much as we may eat plants or animals, guess what? We also have been plants and animals and have experienced being eaten. So it's all beautiful. It's all an experience. So if you can sense and feel that the vibrations coming from these great Rishik solar suns are emanating these photons, sound tones, and light, but they have consciousness to them. The consciousness of love, of wisdom, of power. They are living light consciousness. They're not just a light that's turned on like a light bulb in your house. That's artificial light. That is not true light. That would be like lunar light, okay? Not true organic living light. We would call something like a light bulb in our house dead light energy, not living light energy. And so living light energy has consciousness. Everything in the universe has consciousness. Your body has living, divine, intelligent consciousness within it. And what we're doing, especially in this next year, I would say this is going to be our greatest journey, is to start to more and more still ourselves, silence ourselves, go into our breath, go into our body, go into our being, and let us start to hear the divine intelligence that's already within us, and allow us to breathe that neutral, compassionate love towards any of the places that have been in shadow form, that have been in any kind of place of repression or regression, so that we shine the solar rays of the light and love back into those places and allow our luminescence to come back online. That's really all we're doing, is we get out of the way and we allow the light to be directed through our intention to all of the places that have been locked in the shadows, and we set ourselves free that way. We just bring back ourselves online into living light. So as this living light comes, this is the entire basis of the universe. This matter, antimatter, and then the 0 point field, if you will, the matter, antimatter. And as this Trinity wave is happening, at this diagram on the right, it is creating these electromagnetic waves, these different frequencies and these different waves that are happening. And as the waves happen, they create the patterns. So let's play with how we visually see some of these patterns. So morphogenetic fields, they're the fabric of creation. As these, if you think of atoms, the more and more atoms that come together, if you will, create like a fabric that can create then a structure. And these have morphogenetic blueprints of basically structures on how to operate. So your atoms in your body are all atoms, but some of them are creating a liver, some of them are creating heart cells, some of them are creating your eyes in which you are watching right now. So every single atom has a different instruction set into it that is being kind of reflected from a greater holographic model. And this greater holographic model is our angelic divine blueprint. This is literally like, we are such a cool creation. We figured out how to create bodies that we could enter into so we could touch things, love things, see things, taste things, smell things, hear things. How freaking cool is that, you guys? We literally have created these vehicles so that we could immerse ourselves into our creation and have a tangible experience with it. The essential first link between man, matter, and the cosmos concerns something referring to as a morphogenetic form, which is a form holding field. So morphogenetic fields are comprised by templates of conscious light. So think of that, it's the consciousness and the light and the sound. And the light and the sound is reverberating and creating patterns, which serve as blueprints on which matter forms and conscious identity will manifest. So this occurs microcosmically and macrocosmically. Therefore, the universe is one massive field of consciousness, embracing and containing all other forms and all experiences of reality and manifestation taking place. At the most macrocosmic level, then it can be understood that all that is in fact a massive morphogenetic field in which all experiential reality occurs. Within this is the blueprints for all things, all identities, which are perpetually created and renewed. And if we could get to a place where we understood this on a knowing level, this is where instantaneous healing happens. This is where we get to do the remote healing, the energy healing, and really be able to know that the morphogenetic fields of the blueprints of health already exist. And without a doubt, we don't doubt that we can walk through the wall. We don't doubt the light and that we are all that is. And we don't doubt that we can communicate and talk to the photons of light and move them. Because when we know God's source within ourselves so much, that is how we know it to the degree that we can command it. So that is such a powerful thing to know. Within you, you have that field. And as that field grows stronger within you, one of the most powerful fields you have is your heart's magnetic field around you. So knowing that the more and more you embrace the consciousness that is light, it really truly does direct from the heart. That its desire is to be of service. Its desire is to love. Feel it within yourself. You know it in your core that it feels good to help another. It feels good to be there for another. It feels good to uplift another. It feels good to celebrate another. That the more and more we embrace the divine light within us, that there really is no worry about misusing power, if you will, because it's heart-based and the desire is really to uplift, to celebrate, to love, to co-create. So that is where we get to really embrace that. Another way we feel these waves is through the way our mind frame works. So knowing that as we start to go into our theta state of mind, this is where we really start to get into not only dreaming, lucid dreaming kind of work, but also this is how we start to have the telepathic communication with our higher density, higher frequency avatars. And that as we step into this, and especially doing the breath work, that we're going to be working in the theta state, but in truth, what we're extremely kind of aiming for is the gamma wave. And this is where in so many ways, it's as if the body becomes alive, but it goes to sleep, if you will. We kind of transcend the body. We become part of the void. And from this is our expanded consciousness of oneness. And from this state, in the gamma state, there is an absolute ability to have an awareness of your consciousness. And this is why I ask you to think of your questions. What do you want to ask of your higher self? What do you want to communicate? Who do you want to be? What do you want to, as an infinite solar rishi aspect of creation, you are here and you are completely rebirthed and waking up with your full memories. What do you want to do on this planet? Who do you want to be? What do you want to create? What do you want to manifest? Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? We can't complain about our life. We can't complain about the things that are happening, quote unquote, to us, if we don't even know what we're choosing for ourselves, where we're going, what we're directing, or what we're creating. We have to be in the driver's seat of our consciousness. We have to be in that place of actually creating our reality, or else something else or someone else is creating it for us. And then why would we complain about that if that's what we are choosing or that's what we're allowing? Because it's all something that we take responsibility for and realize we're the ones creating it. So as we go into this, as we create within the 0-point field, our body actually creates a toroidal field. It's a 0-point field, source field within us. And every single atom in your body is a torus. Every single cell has trillions of these atoms that are creating toroidal fields of energy of God source light. So you are God source trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions time over. There's not a part of you that is not God's source light. So as you start to kind of embrace this understanding, you are creating these toroidal fields, and toroidal fields have tremendous power. Think about the power of the splitting of one atom, the atom bomb, the immense power, and your entire conscious physical form has trillions of that capability within you. How are you using it? What are you doing with it? How are we creating? We've never really been asked that. And now we get to sit and go like, oh my gosh, because I'm telling you, there is so much infinite possibility that is coming as we really awaken to the next, in the next couple of years, when we move into Pluto in Aquarius. Watch out, world. Why can't we create the utopia, the Shangri-La, Atlantis again, Lemuria again, all of these amazing civilizations again, but at a higher level, at an even more expansive level, at an even more conscious level? We have the complete capability, the technologies, and the infinite minds dreaming these ideas on this planet right now that can completely manifest an amazing planetary sphere right now. And what part do you want to play? What do you want to create? So let's really play with the idea of what these sound tones are doing. So this cymatics is a really beautiful way for us to have a visual, because we're very visual beings. We like to see how things work. But on a visual level, we could see that when sound hits and creates vibration on a void. So a cymatic would be like the vibration, the sound is creating the vibration in there. And we could see this first square on the top left-hand corner is a simple blueprint. It's a very simple pattern, but as the patterns get more complex, look how much more complex the morphogenetic fields and patterns become. This is how we create the frequencies and the fields and the dimensional levels. And you can almost look at this as the frequencies rise up, you could almost look at that as moving up in dimensional states of awareness. Again, looking at this, even if you see this, that you would see that the gamma wave, look how high vibration the mind is moving. And it's not the mind, it's the consciousness is moving. We're raising our frequency, we're raising our vibrations. It's our vibrations that change a frequency in our neural bandwidths of our brain. So we're feeling different frequencies in there, and it activates different stations within our brain as to what dimensions we're tuning into. It's really all it is. It's not that complicated. All 15 dimensions are happening right here, right now. We're not here at the bottom of a pool, so to speak. It's all happening around us, and we're within it. We're just not perceiving it because our station is just turned to a lower frequency bandwidth. That's it. And as we remember that as our sounds emanate and create these morphogenetic fields around us, the words you speak, absolutely powerful. The thoughts you think, absolutely powerful, because they are the vibrations that are playing out onto the void, if you will, onto the womb of mother, in the womb of mother, and creating the manifestation and the reverberations back into your reality. That's why when we start to be happy, happy starts to bounce back in our life. When we start to just love the life that we have, amazing things start to just show up in our reality. That is why we are truly creating our reality. So know that as you think these thoughts, the more beautiful, like compassion, thank you, wisdom, truth that you emanate. Look at joy. Oh my gosh. What an incredible, beautiful pattern. We harmonize our structures, our living structures within us, into high vibrational states that allow us to really embrace more light. So if you look at over, they actually don't have a lot of the ones on here. But if you were to look at some of the Dr. Emoto photos of water, and you would see some of them that have vibration from the word hate or jealousy or any of these low vibrations, they are so distorted and torn and not beautiful. And if you think of it, it can't hold light. It's just, it's not a structured form that allows the light to flow. So the more we hold these high vibrational thoughts and emotions within us, the more we are cellularly on a atom level able to let the toroidal fields of God source light energy to emanate through us, open up to receive, and we become more of those high frequency vibrations. And just play with sound, play with tones, play with music, play with whatever resonates for you. One of the most beautiful things I love is really working with the Sri Yantra. And the Sri Yantra is, if you were to do the sound Om, that chanting of that Om, which is said to be the original sound tone of all creation. So think of that Trinity wave. It's the Om coming through. And as that Om comes through, that the pattern is actually the Sri Yantra. And that is why it's one of the most powerful sacred geometries to meditate on, to have around, to visualize, to keep repatterning into our reality. The power of what you look at is infinite. So it's important to know that we ingest our reality through all of our senses. And it's important to have things in our reality that when we look at it, it's uplifting us. It's not tearing us down. So even when you look at sacred geometry, just your visual eyesight is bringing that into your cellular frequency and imprinting within you and allowing you to redirect and harmonize. So I just want to show you that this, I thought that was a very cool GIF of looking kind of at a hologram fractal occurring. I do have a video I will share with everyone again. I believe the guy's name is Michael Tellinger. I believe I've shared it before, but it's so powerful. In there is case after case after case of people creating physical things with sound. That sound can even put out a fire. So amazing. That sound has such tremendous capabilities. It's the way in which many of the sacred chambers work, say in the pyramids, in the ancient architecture on the planet. They were all built with sacred geometry from all of our different star races that made imprints on this planet, be it from the Sirius system, be it from the Pleiades, be it from any of the different systems that have been interacting here. Things like the pyramids all around the world that are on every single continent have different chambers that have specific ways in which the rocks are lined up. And they are aligned not only to the constellations, but they are specifically designed to hold sound tones, frequencies, and vibrations. And it is actually tonal vibrations that open many of the stargates on the planet. And I just wanted to show you this picture here on the left-hand side, is really just to show that we are the fractal. We are the pattern that is emanating over and over and over again. And I've shown you before the 12-tree grid, and you can see the 12-tree grid just clicks into another 12-tree grid, just clicks into another one, and then another one, and then another one, and then another one. And it is a reoccurring pattern that just happens over and over and over in the universe. And who cares if there have been beings that have been had the knowledge of the Keylontic science and knew this before, like we did, or when our memories got erased, that have used some of this to kind of pull and siphon energy out of some of our fractals. So this is how kind of some of reversal energy works, is there are beings that know the high sciences, so they actually have the ability to move entire planets or completely open new portals or wormholes or do things like that through, sometimes many times through the destruction of a star. They will destroy a star and it will collapse and create a black hole or create a wormhole that creates a new tunnel through the universe to travel, like a new highway. So they have all of these abilities that they just know how to work with the science. Well, now you know. Now you know you are the perfect blueprint, and your best gift is just to go in and completely erase any limiting belief or thought that has ever thought you were less than God's source light. Any part of you that ever thought that you were forgotten, that you were not wanted, not loved, that you didn't belong. And I giggle because as I say it, that was my entire childhood. I jumped into this experience full on. Head first. I dove into this experience and I allowed myself to feel every single dark shadow that this light, that this world, that this experience offered me in order to feel the limitations of separation so that I could feel on the biggest, greatest level how amazing it is to not just be an aspect of God's source light, but that I am the one that allowed myself to embrace it. You are the one that allows yourself to embrace it. We all get that journey. That's why it's not our job to go smacking people around trying to wake them up. Everybody has the right to whatever dream they're dreaming. Be the one that your dream is so shiny and so pretty and so beautiful that other people are like, what is that? I want to dream that dream. That dream is amazing. How did you do that? Tell me about your dream. Your dream is, oh, incredible. Teach me, show me, help me. I choose that too. Everybody has a right to create from their own choice what dream they want to dream. And what an incredible gift that we get to be the solar rays again. Be the shining lights. We're dropping all of the places that we held ourselves down so that we can know that we can be the solar light. Now, I just wanted to share this. This is a Tesseract. Just to give you a perspective of beginning to understand how all of your avatars are happening simultaneously. To begin to understand how there is no one way to see anything within all of the universe, because it's kind of all happening stacked on top of itself simultaneously and yet separate. So how do we perceive that, right? A tesseract, just to give you an understanding, is a cube that is only in the fourth dimension. This is a 4D, a fourth dimensional representation of a cube. And even looking at this cube, you can already see that it transcends limitations of mind, that it doesn't follow material realm rules. It doesn't have set structures, set walls. So think again of the mental plane and the astral plane and the dream realm. So think again of like lucid dreaming, where you can command your dream, new dream now. Change dream now, where you know that it's all mind and you could walk through a wall. You can fly. You can rewind time, you can recreate anything, you can communicate with everything, because in it you start at this level to understand that all is mind and that you are the one dreaming the dream. And you are the one that is the infinite fractal. So as we hold this embrace within us, I'm going to give each of us a moment to just take some deep breaths in, to take away all of the logic and find your breath. But I'm going to just lead us into a short meditation, and then I'm going to go ahead and start the Soma breath meditation for anyone that wants to stay and do that meditation with me. That this is a gift for each and every one of us to just know our truth, know the truth, that it's not even our truth. Truth is just truth. It can't be my truth and your truth and his truth and her truth. Truth either is or isn't. And the truth is, the entire universe is living, breathing, and existing right inside of you. Can you find it? Can you feel it? Can you be it? Just beginning to take some nice deep breaths in, that in this very I am present moment of now, that we are hereby embracing within us our Trinity wave, our divine intelligence, awakening, breathing, experiencing, expanding. The space of the 0-point field, the place of the neutral, compassionate witness that is enamored, that is in love with all creation, that loves every single experience without judgment. And as we all take a deep breath, that we remind ourselves again that we have the gift of discernment. We have the gift of choice. We have the gift of our alignment. And that through our discernment and through our choice, we get to choose what we want in our dream. We get to command our dream. New dream now. Dream. Create my most beautiful reality. Dream. Manifest my divine living light source within me now. Dream. Activate the Trinity wave in every single cell of my body now. That as a neutral, compassionate witness, we get to have the compassion for every sentient being on the planet and the dream that they are dreaming. But it is our discernment as to whether or not you are choosing to pull their dream into your dream. Remember, it is your discernment what you're choosing to dream. So dream the most beautiful dream. Dream the most beautiful dream into your rebirth, into your life. You are the awakened Christed being. You are the awakened Christed being in an angelic human form. You have access to this beautiful body. You can now walk on the earth. You can talk to others. You can touch. You can taste. You can love. You can hear. You can smell. You are an infinite creator. What are you choosing to create? You are responsible for every single sound, tone, and vibration that is emanating from your field around you. What are you dreaming into the dream? Who do you want to be? What do you choose to be for others? How do you choose to know who you are? And as you breathe, just allow yourself to come into your physicality. Maybe rotate your neck a little. Let yourself move this beautiful vehicle that your Christed light is awakening and breathing in. And move it, rotate it. Where has this body held tension, baggage? Where has this body held anything in its cellular memories from the past? And as you move your body, that you get to, in this moment, be that neutral, compassionate witness. Love the fact that you chose those experiences, that you chose the ancestral lineage you were born into, that you chose the place on the planet where you were born, that you chose absolutely everything in your life, and that you get to love all of it, no matter how difficult it was, how painful it was, how hurtful it was, how scary it was. No matter what, whether it was the loss of a loved one, whether it was your own near-death experience, whether it was an experience of abduction where you just had no understanding of what was happening, so it might have been frightful. What a beautiful experience that you chose. And now here you are, as an awakened Christed being, realizing that it was all for the journey, all for the experience, for the growth, for the expansion, and most importantly, to know thyself. Breathe into your pineal gland. And as you breathe into it, every time you breathe into it, imagine that you're taking your inner eye and looking at the middle of your head, the middle of your brain, right at that beautiful pineal gland. That pineal gland in your brain is one of the most sacred places in your body. Not only does it awaken your inner vision and multidimensional understanding within yourself, but it also secretes the sacred Christed oils within your body, that when you activate your pineal gland, that there is a secretion of a sacred oil that drips and pours down your entire Sushumna channel, all the way down your spinal column, your Kundalini channel, and all the way down into your sacrum. It is not named a sacrum for nothing. A sacrum is sacred. And it is your tailbone, it is the tip, it is the breath, it is the awakening of the snake coiled at the base, the living light fire within you. When you breathe up from your tailbone, you are breathing your inner fire awake and up your Sushumna channel all the way up into your pineal gland, and you are activating the DMT in your crystalline structure of your pineal gland. And as you awaken it, that you are chanting within yourself to awaken to your Christed essence and the anointed oil within you that pours the living light essence within you, that when this living light essence pours, that this is the eternal light. This is the living light that brings sustainability, that brings health, that brings so much to this experience that is beyond any of the physical realm. So as you breathe in, feel the sacredness of your rod. It is the rod and the staff within you that holds the power, the light, and the breath. So whenever you breathe, you are breathing from your tailbone, and you are breathing all the way up your spinal column, and you are completely opening up that channel and pressing it into your pineal gland, and you're opening up your solar luminescence like a white light. And if you imagine looking with your eyes closed, look at your pineal gland and just let that intention blast it open even bigger, like a halo of light, like a solar luminescent light around your head. Feel that now. And as you breathe, that is the base understanding of your breathing. And as you become comfortable with being aware of each breath moving up and down your spinal column, the next intention is to know that you are belly breathing, that as you breathe up from your tailbone, that you're first breathing into your abdomen and expanding your lower brain, completely activating all of your Dantian within your body. And as you do, then you breathe up into your lungs and all the way up and fill your body. And as you take a few cycles of that breath, on one of your next deep breaths into your pineal gland, you're going to see that luminescent, radiant solar light, your Merkaba star within your pineal gland, and you're just going to, on the exhale, shoot it down your Sushumna channel all the way down into the star of the earth, the Merkaba star, core of the earth, and just link it within your larger body. And you breathe in as the earth and your body simultaneously, and you breathe out as your body and the earth simultaneously. And we're just going to be with that for right now, just breathing in as the earth and your body. Each inhale, you feel yourself breathing in as the body of the earth, the planetary body, your planetary consciousness. And every exhale, you're imagining you're just detoxing whatever you are ready to let go of from your body, any of the tension, any of the blockages, any of the past. And you are also breathing out as the planetary consciousness of the earth, whatever you are ready to let go of on the planetary consciousness level. Letting go of all of the history of the past, all of the battles of the past, all of the tit for tats, all of the energy of trying to balance or justify something from the past, that we are really truly becoming the neutral, compassionate witness and choosing to be here now, brand new, right here, right now, that we let go of the past. We don't need things to get balanced from the past or fixed from the past, that in fact, we recreate through a morphogenetic field of just bringing in the brand new blueprint. We let go of the past and be the void, be the Trinity wave, be brand new, right here, right now, being brand new, right here, right now. And allow yourself to go into that breath as we just go ahead and start the breath meditation